Hello, everyone, and welcome to PublishDrive Author Hour. I am your host, Danica Favorite. I'm the community manager at PublishDrive, and today's episode is going to be a bit of a catch-up. I think that there are a lot of different things happening, both with PublishDrive and just in the world in general. So I thought I would today's topic be more of a catch-up, a lot of great information, and I hope that you enjoy. So for those of you who don't know, I actually live in Denver, Colorado in the United States. PublishDrive is a US company, but most of our operations are out of Hungary. And so most of our team's in Hungary, and we have a couple of other people on the team who are elsewhere in Europe. And so we're a very international company, and I know a lot of you are international worldwide. So I would love to hear where you're at, where you're coming from, just to get a sense of who all is out there. Like I said, I know we have customers all over the world. And so it's always interesting to see where people are at. Here in Colorado, it is super hot. We have some wildfire smoke and just doing everything we can to stay cool. There we go. I know how to speak English. And so, yeah, just busy time, busy summer. A lot of our team's on vacation. And as many of you probably are doing the same. So if you're off having a good vacation, I hope you enjoy. And so a few things happening. So first of all, tomorrow is going to be a busy day for me speaking. And if you want to know more about PublishDrive, if you want to see some of the more in-depth teaching that I do, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be teaching as part of the Expand Summit with Monica Leonel. And I will put the link and information in the description after the show goes live. I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. I do this all through StreamYard, and it wasn't working the way I wanted it to, which is why I'm a little bit late getting started. So I'll put that link. I'll go and adjust the link on YouTube so that people can see everything there. And then tomorrow evening, I am doing a webinar for Author Nation and for the Author Nation conference. So if you're part of that community, you can hear me talking about PublishDrive there. So my morning session that I'm doing for Monica is really just about going wide, expanding your business and how to grow your business. And then my evening session with Author Nation is going to be about metadata and book descriptions. So a couple of different things that you can learn about. Monica's summit is free. Author Nation, I believe you have to be a member of the Author Nation community. But I will share links to Author Nation so you can check it out. So that is the big stuff that I'm going to be doing this week. And so that's why I didn't do as much to prepare for today, because I'm preparing for these other big sessions that I'll be doing. And if any of those topics are of interest to you and you can't make those sessions, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and also any other topics that you think would be interesting for you to learn about, because I really want this to be an educational, beneficial show for as many people as possible, because I think that this is how we all grow. We all learn together. And, as I mentioned, I don't quite know how to do all of these things running this through StreamYard, but I'm going to learn. And this is really me just learning as I go. So if you have handy tips, let me know that too. Again, I think that one of the things I'm working through and learning just in my personal life and as an author, and even in my role at PublishDrive, is sometimes you just have to learn things as you go and pick up new skills and develop things that maybe you didn't think you were going to do. And so that is something that I've been working on a lot. And for those of you who follow me, Danica as Danica, on some of my channels there, whether that's Substack or YouTube, I have been talking a lot about that and just the personal growth that I'm doing, because I think it's really important to recognize that as we're developing our businesses and our business systems, we really think about what our capacity is. And I had drinks with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about that. We were talking about our business capacity and how old Danica in a previous life, this was my life schedule. I would get up in the morning, I would take my kids to school or get my kids ready for school. I would work all day. I would get my kids after school, do the after school stuff, do dinner. Once the kids went to bed, I would be up until midnight writing, and then I would get up early the next morning and start my day all over. And then the weekends were just packed between kids and school and everything else. I never had time to rest. And it was really exactly why I was in burnout. And like I said, I talk about this more on my personal stuff because I don't want to go too deep into that with PublishDrive. However, what I want to say and how this relates to you and your author business is like, think about what you're doing to create that manageable schedule. And so like for me, I knew I had these 2 sessions that I've been preparing for the past week or so, actually longer than that. But, and so it's like, okay, well, I also have to plan my PublishDrive Live. No, I don't. I don't have to do all the things and I get to rest. And so rather than being up really late last night, again, I went out, I had drinks with a friend. It was great. I came home, I relaxed and went to bed. And now you see me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as opposed to exhausted and like, and so going back to what we talked about 2 weeks ago and what your business plan is, I'm curious how that has been going for you. And if you were able to take some time to do some planning, if not, what I would recommend doing is actually schedule a planning day for yourself. And it doesn't have to be the full day, but like take a block of time out of your calendar and say, this is my planning time. Go ahead and have that blocked out on your calendar so that people can't book meetings with you. Or if somebody's like, hey, are you busy? You can say, oh, you know what? I've got something. You don't have to tell them what, or you can, it doesn't matter. But like have that time to just sit down and go through that July plan, for the rest of the year. Since we're at the second half of the year, sit down and do that. What do you need to do to be successful for the rest of the year to hit some of those goals? And so one of the things that I thought I would share with you today, as part of that, one of the things we don't think about, and I didn't put this in my live, is that how many of you have Christmas books? Me, I have a lot of Christmas books because Christmas books sell really well, particularly around the holidays. There are people who read them year round, but major publishers and things like that, they start their Christmas book push September or October. And for those of you who go to like the different craft stores and things like that, you can see they're already starting to roll out some of their Christmas decor and Christmas things because getting ready for the Christmas season actually does start July and August. And so if you want to run a Christmas promotion or have a sale or even have a Christmas book, for those of you who write fast, you still have time to get that Christmas book done and ready and out to be published October, November. Actually, October, November are really the sweet spots for Christmas books. You can put it out in December, but the problem is that usually people in December are so busy and they are not as likely to be shopping around for Christmas books. If they're reading Christmas books, it's typically stuff they've already bought or something that just happens to come across their feed. But start making that plan for your Christmas books now. And if you want even more in-depth help with planning for your Christmas sales, I encourage you to check out The Writing Wives. My friend Jill Cooper, she was on, about a month ago, I think, where she was talking about the author business and things like that. She has a school community for The Writing Wives. And I think in 2 weeks, she is going to be doing a week-long session on getting stuff ready for the holiday season. And so it is a paid group. However, you get like a free week. So you could join for free for that week and do your Christmas promo there. Again, I will put that link in the YouTube description when this is all over. So just be looking for that later. I apologize that I don't have that right now. It's just still learning, still trying. And honestly, I think that is one of the things that we as authors all can learn is this idea of just doing it scared, doing it unprepared, not knowing what you're doing and learning as you go. Russell Nolte, who was also a guest here several months ago, It talks a lot about that in his own work and community and things like that, about, you don't have to have it perfect. Just get it out there. And I know there's a famous saying about editing. You can't edit a blank page. And so I think so many of us are waiting for that perfect moment, having all the information, knowing all the steps, that we don't just do it. And so take a little of that lesson from me and just do it. See if you can figure that out and learn. And so one of the things that you can do that I want to share is that we have in PublishDrive, you can also start preparing now. I am sharing with you my PublishDrive screen, and we're going to go into PublishDrive and we're going to look at some of the things that you can do. So I'm going to click sign in up here, and we're going to sign in. Now, I get this pop-up when I sign in because we have 3 separate things: distribution, publishing assistant, and abacus. If you always just go to distribution, you can always click this box to make the selected service your default choice, and you can just go straight there. Since I use all 3 quite a bit just in my work, I never do that. I just pick which one I'm going to do. So today we're going to go to distribution. And let's just pretend you are one of the people who has selected just to automatically go to distribution. Like if I had that selected, this is where I would go. I wouldn't get that pop-up. But let's just pretend you're like, hey, I actually would like to use Publishing Assistant. You just come up here to apps and you click on that, and you can see right here all of our different apps, and you can click right into Publishing Assistant or Abacus, or you can use our ebook converter or the book sales calculator. So that's always right there. You're not locked into your particular choice. And so what I wanted to show you today, and also look, 1 print book. So see, I did it. I did the thing that I told you guys I was going to do. I got my print book out, up and running. So, but as we're looking at preparing for the future and preparing things, we're going to go to promotions. And I'm going to click on my promotion tab. Okay. I'm going to click on my promotion tab. That was me. My mouse isn't working very well today. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, what you can do is you look at the promotions, and right here, we have sales events. And I think I have talked about this before. If not, I'm going to talk about this now. So sales events. So this one is for Apple. This one, the application deadline has already passed. And the Kobo one has passed as well. But if you scroll down, just make a point of looking in and seeing what happens to be going. So for example, and this is why I wanted to talk about Christmas stuff. Okay. And also we have to remember seasonally, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, the Southern, and so we are sweating. It's hot. Southern Hemisphere, it's winter. And so anyway, if we look at this for Australia and New Zealand, if you have a book that's available for Australia and New Zealand, for this campaign, Kobo's looking for titles that fit the following topics: waddle and sweater weather, nice fun reads, darkly funny crime, cozy catastrophe. If your book fits those topics, make sure that you're applying for that and make sure that you put that information in. Tell us why your book is exceptional. This is only for English language title, and you do need to discount it for that time. And again, we have the same thing for UK summer sale, same topics. And then if you have Spanish audiobooks, you can also submit that. And here's what I want you to notice. So like right here for the Spanish audiobooks, July 26th is the deadline to apply, but the book actually isn't being put on sale on Kobo until September 16th. And this is why I'm saying start planning ahead. Start looking at what you're doing, where your books are, what books you have. And so take a look at what you have in your catalog and how you're putting that on sale. And then here's another one, nonfiction for Spain and Mexico, more Spanish audiobooks, back to school sale for Mexico, OverDrive, Hispanic Heritage Month. And this is something, again, this is where you want to take a look at what's happening. So Hispanic Heritage Month is in September. And so if you have Latino books, you're Hispanic, anything like that, and you're part of that cultural heritage, and you have books that celebrate that cultural heritage, then you would want to make sure that you're planning for September to really give those books a big push. And so this is all OverDrive, Apple Books, bingeable reads, US only. Submit your ebooks for this bingeable reads campaign. And this is the last big week of summer and Labor Day weekend. So this one you have a little more time. It's August 2nd, and the campaign period is September 1st through September 8th. So, but notice they're still wanting you to plan for this sale a month ahead of time. And again, another one for Kobo for Spanish titles. Again, like what we're seeing is that September, Hispanic Heritage Month. So you're seeing a lot of these stores that have Spanish campaigns happening in September, but they're asking you to start planning for that July and August. So this is where it's really great for you to start keeping a calendar of like, what are the major holidays? What is Book Lovers Day? What is Spanish or Women's History Month, Black History Month? Like all of these things are typically the same month every year. And so if you fit into one of those categories, if you're a Black author, for example, make sure you're putting your book out for those Black History Month promotions and sharing your work, because everyone is going to be giving those titles extra visibility. For Women's History Month, same thing. If you're a woman and you have some books that are really great women's topics, make sure you're planning for those things. And again, you can start Googling that. I know there are a lot of websites and things that just list them out in a chart. So start looking for those things and planning on that, so that you can take advantage of what you're already writing and who you are as an author. And maybe you're a Latina author or you're a Black author and you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Here's a great way to take advantage of getting that extra promotion, because I think those voices are really important. And we need to have more of those other voices being out there and shared. We just celebrated Pride Month last month. And again, those are voices that are going to be amplified during that month. And all of these different voices are so important to amplify and to get people reading those books. So just a thought in terms of how you want to plan your promotion for whatever group of people you belong to. And then, so Kobo, they have a box set weekender campaign. Do you have a box set for your books? You can go ahead and put that into that campaign. And again, look at the deadlines and things like that. So maybe you have a series of 3 books and you haven't put it into a box set, which is one of the things that, as I was mentioning, Jill Cooper, that is one of her big strategies, is once you have that group of books, put it into a box set. If you don't have those 3 books into a box set yet, you've got until August 11th to create that box set and get it put up. I would start sooner than August 11th to get that done, because as I don't know if you noticed when I logged in, it said that books may take up to 5 business days for approval. That's partially because we do have a lot more people submitting books to us, and we have team on vacation. That's just, it's summer. And so, and also remember that all of our customer service team, they are in Eastern Europe. And so they work on Eastern European time zones and Eastern European holidays. So again, make sure you remember that for, if you're submitting a book, your new box set, August 10th, it's probably not going to make this deadline to be part of the promotion. So think about how you can plan around that and what you can do for your own personal plans for getting your books done. Here's another great one. Halloween horror sale. Do you write books that do you write books that fit these themes? I know a lot of people have books in this category, but notice the application deadline for something that's going to be around Halloween is August 13th. And so the campaign will start September 22nd and go through October 17th. And this is also where it's important to remember to do your planning. Is some of you are like, yes, I have a Halloween book. I'm going to start promoting it the week before Halloween. Okay. These other people like Kobo, OverDrive, Apple, all the different major retailers and the big publishers, the traditional publishers, if it's a Halloween book, they're going to start promoting it August, September into October. They don't wait until Halloween week to promote it. You should still promote it Halloween week, but start promoting these books and these titles early, because that is what the publishers, that is what all the distributors are doing, because they want everything in place so that Halloween week, when people are looking for that thing to read, they've already got it in place. And so start planning the same way that these people are planning as well. So OverDrive, this one is for audiobooks. They do have the ebook one. And then here's a great one, books you've always meant to read for Apple Books. And so one of the things that you can look at, this is a great way to promote your backlist. Titles should be published prior to 2017, unless they've developed a really strong, everyone's read this but me reputation that would make them still make sense alongside older classic titles. And so if you have a backlist title that you want to get a little extra love to, make sure you're submitting to that. And this is a great reminder that you should be promoting your backlist. You should be talking to people and getting those backlist titles out and promoting them, which is one of the things that I will be talking about in tomorrow morning's session at the Expand Summit, is really getting those backlist titles out there, promoting your backlist, and allowing that backlist to make money for you. And that is another thing that my friend Jill teaches about and talks about. So think about how you can use that backlist and give them a little extra oomph, especially while you're writing your current book or writing the next book. So that is what the promotions looks like. And this is what some of the planning that you want to do, and planning for all of those things. And so if you've already done your plan that we were talking about a couple weeks ago, great. See if you can configure some of this and put some of this into your planning. If you haven't done your planning, this is a great reminder of why you want to start planning now for those really big events and for the big holidays. As you can see, we're in July and they're already starting to plan things that are happening as far in advance as Halloween. And for those of you who have Christmas things, I can almost guarantee you that starting next month at some point, we're going to be getting all of the holiday sales, all of the holiday specials that are going to be for you to promote your holiday books. So keep that in mind and start thinking about, okay, how can I get my book placed and my book ahead of the crowd? Because that's the other reason why you want to start planning for the holidays now and getting those books out early. Because if you wait until December 1st to start promoting your Christmas book, that market is going to be so full. Everyone is seeing Christmas books everywhere. And how do you make your Christmas book stand out from the others? Whereas if you're already promoting your Christmas book in October, people are like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get that and read that for Christmas. There's less competition too if you start that promotion early and you're starting to build off of those promotions. So that is one of the things that is just really important when you talk about planning and what's happening with PublishDrive. So another thing that is happening with PublishDrive that I'm excited about, I've just started the planning process. I shouldn't say that. I have been planning it for a while. PublishDrive is going to do a live online conference on YouTube for free September 8th and 9th. And so I'm getting my speakers confirmed right now. We're really excited about it. And next week, I'm sitting down with the team and we are going to plan like a web page, a landing page to give you more information about that. But I would just say start saving the date, put that on your calendar, September 8th and 9th. It will be live on YouTube. It will be completely free and it's forever free. So if you want to watch the replay or something like that, it will always be there on YouTube for you to do so. Along with that, this is in the very early intelligence gathering stage, but what I'm looking to do is have an in-person mastermind retreat in June in Budapest, Hungary. Yeah, that's right. You guys saw my video that I did with our CEO. And so next June when I go, I am gathering some authors, publishers, people in the business, and we're just going to mastermind. It isn't going to be a formal conference. There's no formal schedule. It's really just authors, publishers, people in the industry talking business and figuring out ways to move your business forward. And so if that is something you're interested in, number one, make sure you let me know. Number two, when that landing page goes live, we will have a short survey you can fill out and an interest form. It doesn't commit you to anything. It just lets me know what the interest is and how many people I should be planning for and what I should be looking at. So again, that is coming next week. I know, kind of like, ooh, getting excited, but it gives you time to sit with the idea, to think about it. And also for our online conference that's happening September 8th and 9th, this gives you a chance to reach out to me. Let me know what topics you want covered, what speakers. I'm reaching out to people I know, topics I think would be good, but this is all me and my opinion. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I heard this person talk, or I really would love to hear this person teach, please let me know that, because I'm really interested in making sure that we get something that is of benefit to as many people as possible. And so, like last week, we had someone coming in, we were talking about foreign rights and selling foreign rights, which was a topic I really hadn't heard about. And I know a lot of people choose to self-publish their foreign titles, but what's really great is if you have something that you think is going to really be a hit in another country, you can always sell those rights and have a publisher take care of that for you. And I thought that was a really nice extra option if it was something you wanted to look into. So always trying to share that information with people and help people learn and grow. And speaking of learning and growing, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of YouTube channels today. First of all, Self-Publishing with Dale. How many of you follow Dale? He is amazing. A good friend of mine. Love chatting with him. And about a month ago, he did a video about print on demand and who the best print on demand company was. And he was talking about PublishDrive and some of the stuff that he went through with PublishDrive, and he was not very impressed with what was happening with our print on demand stuff. And so we watched it, and our CEO actually took that feedback and did her own homework and started playing around with it to see how it would actually work and what we need to fix in the system. And so that's something that now our team in the tech side and all of that, our team's actually working on that. And so I know sometimes people are like, oh, there's a problem here, there's a problem there. We do listen to feedback and we do try our best to improve. And so all that to say, I I know sometimes people think, oh, no one listens, no one cares, I'm complaining about this thing. All of the customer service comments, all of the things that people are dealing with customer service wise, it is something that our team takes seriously, and our team is always looking for ways to optimize. And so that is one of the things we're optimizing. As I mentioned to you in some of my previous videos, when we met in June as a team, that was one of the things we were really focused on, is how can we help authors who use PublishDrive, and of course authors in general, how we can help people be more successful in their publishing business. And so, and some of these things that I've been talking about, that is our answer, is I'm putting on an online conference for free. So that way people who are elsewhere in the world, I know we have customers all over the planet. And I really want to make sure that they can access the same information, because even though a lot of these conferences are great, I love the in-person conferences, but I know not everyone can go. And even like for me saying, hey, I'm planning this in-person event in June 2027 in Budapest. I know not a lot of people are going to be able to make it. But for people who are like, yeah, I just can't go to US conferences, I can't get to the US, maybe going there is easier for you. And so that's something that we have sat with and figured out, okay, how can we make this happen? And what's going to be the most effective way to make this happen for our customers and for authors worldwide, to help their publishing journey and to simplify things and give them the best education possible. And that's why I really do recommend Dale and his YouTube channel. And it's so funny. Part of why I started this is at Dale's recommendation. He's like, you really should do a PublishDrive channel. And I was like, Dale, I don't know anything about YouTube. And he very graciously sent me a copy of his book on YouTube, which I'm working through. A lot of really good information. I do highly recommend that book if you are trying to do things on YouTube. And honestly, for me, there's just so many things. I'm doing my regular job. I'm writing. I'm also in my personal world. I am training to learn a therapeutic healing technique that I hope will something I can use to help writers work through writer's block, and all the different things and all the moving pieces. And as I mentioned at the start, I'm also trying to really work on that work-life balance. And rather than putting in a 12-hour day and being super proud of myself, I'm like, nope, I am supposed to work an 8-hour day. And when I'm done, I'm done. And I'm not going to put in all this extra work and burn myself out again. And I really want to encourage you all to do the same. I'm going to be pounding this drum a lot, because it's just so important that we all take on that work-life balance and remember that we aren't here just to work. We also need to go out and enjoy our lives. We need to relax. We need to take care of ourselves. And so I want to encourage you to do that as well. And one of the people that I also admire for taking care of themselves, and actually I will say this about Dale as well, he and I have been having some conversations too about the fact that he's also cutting back on some of his commitments and not taking on as much in the name of self-care. And I'm really proud of him for that. And I just really respect and admire him even more, as he and I have been talking a lot about that just behind the scenes. And another person I know who's doing a really great job of that is my friend Elizabeth Ann West. And hopefully I will have her on at some point here in the near future. And but she is part of the Future Fiction Academy. She founded that with Stacey Anderson and my better half. I was going to call her my better half. My co-host of the Brave New Bookshelf podcast, Steph Pajonis. So the three of them founded a company called Future Fiction Academy, and they are teaching authors how to use AI in every step of their journey. And I really appreciate their perspective on using AI, because they really do teach authors a lot. And they have their paid programs, they have their paid community, but they also do a lot for free. And I want to encourage you to check out their YouTube channel, Future Fiction Academy. They're doing a series right now called The Automated Author. It's Elizabeth and Stacey, and they're talking a lot about just different automations and different things you can do to simplify your author writing business. And I want to give them a shout out. I know Elizabeth is also doing the same thing Dale's doing, I'm doing, like taking some of those things off your plate so that you can have that extra time. And one of the things that they're teaching at the FFA is that idea of what can you hand over to the AI to give back some of your time. And I am not caught up on those videos. I'll be honest. I keep getting a little notification of a new video's up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have time right now. But I really am looking forward to catching up on all of that and learning some of their new tricks, because I really do think that one of the gifts of AI is this idea of how can we work smarter and not harder? And how can we buy back some of that time? And some of you are like, yes, I use AI to write. Some of you are like, never, I will never use AI to write. Some of you are kind of in a middle ground. And all of those positions are valid as long as you're not talking down to other people who use AI differently from you. And that's something that I talk a lot about on the Brave New Bookshelf. For those of you who have heard the Danica soapbox, you know this very well. Just be kind to authors, even if they're using a process that you don't like or isn't for you. That's okay. Let them do their thing. You focus on you and do your thing. And last week was our last episode of Brave New Bookshelf. Through the summer, we are taking a break from recording. We're going to start back up the end of August. So make sure you catch up on episodes you may have missed. For those of you who are like, what is this Brave New Bookshelf thing? I'm so glad you asked. I have mentioned this before, but I have a podcast that I co-host with my good friend Steph, and we talk about AI for authors and through every stage of the journey. And as I've mentioned before, PublishDrive is an AI forward company. We are AI positive. We are fine with AI. We use AI tools in our business. As I've taught, if you go back, you look at our metadata generator, our publishing assistant, all those things, that's AI. And we do publish AI books. However, here's the caveat. We have to require things to fit within store guidelines. And so that does mean that if you're using AI, you need to disclose it. And because we're required to disclose it to the stores. And there are some stores who accept AI. There are some stores who do not. And so if your book isn't accepted into a certain store that you're trying to distribute to through PublishDrive, it isn't that PublishDrive hates AI. It's not that we don't want to publish your book. It's that the store has told us no. And when we say, when we email you and say, hey, was this done with AI? Could you please put this in the description? Again, this isn't us picking on you or saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe you used AI. It really is just the stores are requiring us to do that. And so we want to keep our contracts with the stores so the stores will let us continue distributing to them because that's why we're here, right? And so, Brave New Bookshelf, we're on our hiatus just for a few weeks. And then we'll get back at the end of August. We'll start up with some new episodes. And that is another thing to put out there to you is if you are like, hey, have you guys ever talked about this? Or do you know this person who's doing this cool thing with AI? Let me know, because I will start booking guests here in a couple weeks. And once I start booking those guests, we will be doing interviews and scheduling things. And but again, like this is part of the work-life balance is Steph and I like to take the summer off. Steph wants to spend time with her family, and she also did some great traveling. And so that's really important. And I think that's where, I want to circle back to where we began today and catching up on your planning and what you're planning for. I've just told you about some really great things to start planning for that you can be doing in your business, whether that's Christmas and everything like that. But also, are you planning for that time off? When we scheduled Brave New Bookshelf episodes and we recorded them, we did so with the intention of how can we keep this going through the summer, record a bunch of episodes in advance so that we can take time off. And how can you, in your writing business, plan your writing schedule? Going back to the planning, how can you plan your writing schedule so that you can plan for time off? Do you have a day off planned in your schedule? And I get it because I was there. I was telling you in the beginning, I was that woman getting up early with my kids, getting my kids ready to school, getting them off to school, and then working a full day. And then at the end of the day, my kids were involved in every activity under the sun and do all of that, get dinner. And so I didn't get back to, then the kids would get to bed, and then I would write until midnight and get up again. It's so funny. I actually have this little health app. I'm wearing a little health band. I use Hume. And it's so funny because even now, like today, I do my little daily analysis, and it's like, yeah, you still have a sleep deficit. I'm like, I know, I'm working on it. But some of us are just chronically sleep deprived. And I think for me, I was going at that pace for a long time, and I wasn't taking days off. Like on the weekends, my kids would have games and this activity and that activity. It was constantly doing and running. And then when I wasn't running with the kids on the weekends, I was catching up on my writing and all the other things that I needed to do for my writing career. And for me, I'm learning from that mistake now. And again, I don't have small children anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's still, how do I plan that work-life balance? And I've talked about this on Brave New Bookshelf, so go check out some of those episodes because I have talked about the fact that, for the first time in my life, I have a social life. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, yesterday I went out for drinks with a friend. I have a standing coffee date with another friend, and like all these things that I never had time for. But the truth is, I didn't make the time. And so figure out what those important things are for you and make that time. I've been talking a lot about vacations. Even if you can't afford to go anywhere, can you take a vacation from your work? Can you have a staycation? Can you just say, hey, you know what? This week I'm taking off from writing and just taking care of myself. All those different things that you need that are good for you and that I really want you to think about as you're planning of how can I not just have this writing career, but how can I just be this happy, healthy, whole person? And that is what I want for you. Those are my big wishes. But, PublishDrive also as a company, we want you to succeed. And it's so important to look at ways that you can make yourself more successful. And so that is all I have for today. Again, please make sure you're leaving some comments, share your thoughts with me, and we will talk again very soon. See you next week. Have a great rest of your day.